Our next speaker is going to talk about a platform that a lot of us don't think about enough, and that is CarPlay. It's one of those things that Apple seems to not think about enough either. He's the CTO of mobile at Capgemini Spain, and says that if you need any advice on project management, he's available to provide it, as he is the father of 4 children. He has experience developing for CarPlay and wants to share that with you. Please welcome Victor.
Thanks. Okay. Hello, everyone. Yeah, let's talk about developing for CarPlay. First of all, it's me, Victor. You can follow me if you want, if you are interested. Okay. The first thing that we have to do is to we have to understand the differences between CarPlay and CarPlay Ultra. CarPlay is something launched 11 years ago. We can extend our capabilities or our apps from our phones to our media screen of the car. But after 11 years, Apple released a new, renewed version named CarPlay Ultra, which gives us more control of our car with climate, speed, fuel, a lot of things that now we can read or we can research deeply. We have a bit limitation right now because it's something really new. So we have only available initially in the United States and Canada, but we hope to see this in more new cars and more new countries. Okay. CarPlay is something great because we can extend our apps to the car in the media screen, but Apple doesn't want to have any app there because Apple is following restrictive categories that can support Apple Car. Only audio apps, driving, task apps, EV charging for electrical vehicles, fueling, parking, navigation, and quick food ordering. And that makes sense because we will see Apple is taking care of us and thinking of us, and that's why they don't want to have everything on our media screen, avoiding mistakes we are driving. So we have to talk about the guidelines for any car app or CarPlay app. But don't forget the categories that we already seen. If we show the guidelines, we have to see the first rule is your CarPlay just has to be designed for primarily to provide the specific feature. So if you have an app like, let's say, Instagram, for example, that has audio media or some small capability that could match with the category, doesn't mean you can have Instagram of your media in your CarPlay app. So don't break the rules. Just think like Apple is reviewing the categories of our app and the intention of our apps to decide if that app must or must not be there. Also, keep this in mind. Never instruct people to pick up their phones, to perform a task, to sign in, because, you know, you have to sign in the devices. You cannot do that. You have to help the users to avoid make mistakes like this. However, alerts or messages must not include wording that ask to people, you have to manipulate, you have to sign in your iPhone, because we would be supporting drivers using their phones when they are driving. So please don't do it. The second rule, all CarPlay flows must be meaningful to use while driving. So don't include features in the car that aren't related to the primary task. If you said you have sign-in or chat just using Siri to use the voice to send or receive messages or voice over IP, please, don't move creating other features to evolve that product to something else that doesn't match with this. And this is something restrictive and something completely different, because when I was preparing the meeting, I found this picture that matched perfectly what Apple tried to avoid. No gaming or social networking inside. And this is a rule inside of the guidelines of CarPlay. So please don't do that. And this is Elon Musk saying we will have gaming cars in Tesla devices. I don't want to, to create a fire here, but, well, each of us can decide in which side it wants to be. Never show the content of a message, text, or emails in the car screen. Also, for example, this is related with Spotify or audio players. Avoid to put the lyrics inside of the social media in the CarPlay, because we are introducing mistakes for drivers that can be really expensive. So again, don't make it cry the cat. Again, use templates for their intended purpose, and only populate templates with the specified information types. Well, these rules is because I don't know how many times we will have to review exactly the effort to create apps for CarPlay, but keep this in mind. It's completely different as we are used to. Because when we, as developers, we want to create empty templates or empty screen, white screens, and start to draw circles, lists, tables, and insert data in of them. This is not how CarPlay apps works. Apple CarPlay works in a different way. You have to define the screens. You have to define the templates that you want to use, where are delegates and data sources, and Apple will make the rest. Why? Maybe if you've never seen a CarPlay app before, your first thinking is related with, okay, this makes no sense. It's really restrictive for me. I want to draw as I want. But we don't have a screen for every different sizes to see if it matches perfectly or if it is not. So for that reason, CarPlay and Apple is doing something different. Don't make effort to create screens that match in every single size of a screen. Give me the data. Give me what you want to do, which kind of template you need, and Apple will make the rest and will make the effort to make it visible and easy for the rest of the users. All voice interaction must be handled using SiriKit. Those things that you are, is my last 6-7 slides is the guideline and the rules for CarPlay developers. So keep this in mind. All voice interaction must be handled using SiriKit. Makes sense. You can. I don't hope to see nobody trying to send a message pressing a keyboard while they are driving. They have to use their voice, and this is the only way that Apple support for us. So in this iOS 26 version, something that only was available for CarPlay Ultra, don't forget, CarPlay Ultra was only used for drivers. It was only done for to have the control of the car inside of the CarPlay, while the old or the CarPlay Basic only has the extended capability for the iPhone. Well, in iOS 26, widgets and live activities will be available for CarPlay, not CarPlay Ultra. CarPlay Ultra always had this, but CarPlay, the regular CarPlay now, can use this with iOS 26, only having iOS 26. You don't have to update your car, you don't have to do anything else. If you want to do this with widgets and live activities, you don't have to do anything. Your app doesn't need to be a CarPlay app. Just if you have live activities or if you have a widget in your app, you can go to settings and change your configuration to add your widget or live activity for your CarPlay. There it is. You now, widgets support in CarPlay Ultra and iOS 26 in CarPlay. And now going to settings, you can select the widget that you want, and the developers for those companies that you are seeing did anything. Just it was done in a movement for Apple to support for all CarPlays, the widgets and live activities. And maybe at this point, you are thinking like, well, Victor, I hear about MFI. Maybe if I am a CarPlay developer app, I need to request permissions to MFI to do this. Well, MFI is a requirement for Apple to access for hardware manufacturers. So if you work in a company which is developing hardware that support Apple technologies, not only for CarPlay. CarPlay is one of it, because maybe you need to integrate with control for fuel or control for the speed or different controls of the car, of the seats that you need or you want to support and read and etc. Yes, you have to. You have to request this, insert information, the reason that you need it, etc. And after, if Apple approve it, you will be able to do this. And that's the point. That's what MFI program is. Only, don't forget, hardware manufacturers, but not only for CarPlay. This is for any manufacturer hardware company which needs to control or access to some standards of Apple or protocols or need any validation, they need MFI. But for app developers, also CarPlay apps developers, is not needed. Well, and at this point, we have to think what is the best way or approach if we want to develop an app. How can I need to buy a car. It could be great, right? As developers, send me a car. I need to develop something. Well, this is not exactly how it works. There are two different ways to test our apps. The first one is using the additional, when we download Xcode, in each version we have additional tools. And inside of the additional tools, we have the CarPlay simulator. It's really simple. We just can drag it to application if we want. We can do whatever we need. And only connecting our iPhone in the Mac with CarPlay simulation opened, automatically we'll see a pop-up saying like if they want to have it and connect it, and it will be really easy. Also, in Xcode, we have another way. Like, it's not a simulator, it's just to see the screen, just to see how it looks like the app. But to be honest, I read it while I was preparing this presentation, but never used it. I never had the challenge or the necessity to try this. But in any case, I did a QR code where you can go to that to download the CarPlay and read a bit more regarding this topic. Well, it's now a bit moment to read a bit regarding this topic. And let's put just an example, an easy sample of our app. I did an NS Spain app, so Luis and Borja, don't blame on me. Okay, this is my app. Oops. Sorry, I thought that was, this one is better, more polite. Okay, I have an app, and I did just a brief introduction about this app. And this app also has widgets, as I was saying. The data is hard-coded. I didn't want to prepare more, but I think it's for clarifying its example, it's fair enough. Okay, just as you can see, sorry, I have to go back. But just to add in the support of the app, that means you only have to select in the supported families of the widget. Directly, we will be able to go to CarPlay, select our car, because maybe we have our simulator. Sometimes we have multiple simulators, because you download different versions somehow. Or maybe you have also some cars, and you will see all of them at the same place, and you can just select the widget that you want. If you look on the corner, you will see the NS Spain widget, and I did anything. It was magic. I mean, I didn't have to do anything. So the point here is, this is the widget. But now, if I select in the app intent configuration this favorite location, I can say, please don't put my widget on the car for some reasons, because maybe makes no sense to have this widget on the car for any reason, political or ideological or just personal. In any case, you can remove from the car the widget that you need. Perfect. In that case, we can select this favorite. And now, the widget will not be available in the configuration of the CarPlay. So this is just quite simple. But now, if we see just a bit of the code of the widget, just to make it available, we only have to select the supported families, just if we want to read it. And in that case, we have to select the supported families. And automatically, if that families are supported for CarPlay or your CarPlay, automatically will be available. Okay. Inside of www.developer.apple.com/CarPlay, we have a lot of resources if we want to go deep regarding this topic. I suggest you, if some of you has more interest after this talk regarding CarPlay and wants to enjoy, there are really big information regarding a lot of stuffs. For example, the CarPlay, the guidelines, and etc. And if we want to create an app that support CarPlay, we have to create an entitlement. I mean, I'm not talking about widgets. I'm not talking about live activities. I'm talking about the CarPlay app. If we want to create a CarPlay app, we have to think about the categories. Don't forget the minimum versions, because some categories can support one iOS or another. And don't forget the kind of entitlement that we saw before, regarding parking, navigations, etc. We have to request this entitlement, and also we have to request, in the previous screen, we saw when we were talking the developer.apple.com/CarPlay, there is a link to request for create an app. You have to say the specific, the kind of, the app type, a bit more about the app, the features that you want to implement, etc. So Apple can review it. And CarPlay's apps are built from a fixed set of UI templates that iOS renders on the CarPlay screen. That's really important, because we were seeing before iOS versions to select different categories for apps. Why I have to select different iOS apps or iOS versions selecting different categories? Because, don't forget, iOS renders. So iOS has to be ready for that. And this is quite a game change rule, because now we don't talk about beautiful user experience, how to create beautiful apps with a lot of lists, so it's rich in accessibility or rich in a lot of information, because we don't have control. We have to say the data source that we have to say the delegates that we want to trigger in different cases, but we don't have any control of the render screens or objects. Okay, each CarPlay apps category supports specific templates. Keep this in mind. Now we don't talk about beautiful widgets or beautiful objects that we will create, beautiful using Swift UI. This is not how it works. Here we have to say, hey, I want to use this template for this category app. And in this category app, I will have 3 stands. Those stands will have those data sources, and those data sources will have those delegates, for example. That's how it works, a CarPlay app. And attempting to use and supporting template triggers and exception at runtime. So keep this in mind when we are creating this and the requirement of the version of the categories. Also, we have actions, sheets templates. We have alert templates. We have contact templates, grid templates, but don't, as you can see, you only have the kind of presentation of any of them. You have to say, an item. This item can be as a picture. This picture is coming from that data source, but will not have control to select how this will be presented or rendered. That's why always we have to manage the iOS versions, because it's iOS which renders for any size of a screen. Also, we have an information template that's a specific style of list that present unlimited numbers. Starting iOS 16, you have to know if an information template can be or not executed. For example, if you're charging in that category, app may display information about a charging station. That's the way that it works right now, CarPlay development. And now we have more lists, list template with the standard list items, list templates with the first item configured as a picture, row item using the row element style, or list template with the first item configured as an image row item using the card element style, or list templates, etc., right? So what we can do is, again, my suggestion, if you want to create an app using a specific category, go to that web. I, again, did a QR code with developer.apple.com/CarPlay. And there we can, as you can see, the request CarPlay app entitlement. We can explore design guidelines. This is what we have been researching in, in a brief summary of it. The additional tools for run our apps in CarPlay. And this is something that we have, this is in a way that we can create app. For example, we have an info list. In our info list, we are, for example, all CarPlay apps must adopt themes and declare a CarPlay theme to use a CarPlay framework. But also, we can declare it as themes dynamically. Or we can include an application theme manifest in our info list file. This following example is an example of an application theme manifest that declares a CarPlay theme. We can add this to the top level for our info list file. And this is exactly how it works. All CarPlay apps must adopt themes and declare CarPlay themes. To use the CarPlay framework, we can declare it themes dynamically, and we can to say where this template theme will connect. This is the trigger that it will be disconnect in the line 13, and the method of our delegate when the theme is disconnected, because maybe we want to do something else when the connection is disconnected with the CarPlay. So this is everything. I hope you enjoyed, or at very least, learned something. Who knows, maybe even both.
So how many of you have tried to write a CarPlay app? How about a TV app? So CarPlay, you saw from the templates, feels a little bit like a TV app. They'll take care of you. But one of the things that you put up on the screen was the entitlements. So you have to tell Apple ahead of time what kind of app you're building?
Yeah. Yes, we have to select. Well, when we request, you have a form where the first thing that you have to say is the category that you want to do. What is your intention? Which kind of feature you want to create? Because Apple really cares of us and wants to be safe. They don't want to create an app that breaks the rules and start doing things that interact with the users. So don't forget, when Apple reviews your app, if you have a CarPlay app, they will review deeply your app.
So I wanted to call that out because unlike an iOS app, they're reviewing it before they even let you build the CarPlay app. They have to give you the entitlement, and that brings us to a couple of the questions, which is, do you have any idea if you get rejected, what steps are? Can you appeal? How do you go through that?
Okay. Of course, this is the same as it is with the rest of our apps in the Apple Store. We usually sometimes receive rejections of our publishing because they don't have the high quality that Apple wants for our apps. And maybe you have to change. Also, sometimes you have to understand what the Apple wants, because the rejection sometimes they have a reasonably thing like maybe you don't think about it, and maybe you can change your future, retry it again,
So thank you very much to Victor.
Thank you. Thank you.